Benjamin Wright Jr., who did the string arrangement on Michael Jackson's first epic solo album.
And Benjamin Wright's from Chicago?
Yeah, he's not originally from Chicago, but he worked in Chicago.
Okay.
He developed his craft. He's from down in Mississippi there. But he developed his craft musically, and he's college and university trained as a classically trained musician, multi-instrumentalist, has his own studio in the West Coast, and he does all the arrangements for the New Kids on the Block, the Mary J. Blige, the Destiny Child. He's done stuff, and all the stuff he's worked, and a lot of them is platinum, gold, double platinum, this, that. And he was the one who brought that introduction of strings to a track, you know, like when you listen to Stop Till You Get Enough and you hear the strings go at the introduction. He was one of the key people to start that trend.
Okay, cool.
Affinity Extra, be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Extra.
Yeah, people. This is Roger Moore here from Affinity Extra, celebrating gospel music of Black origin. This is how we do it here on Affinity Extra, and I'm alongside Black music historian Kevin Tomlin, who's got a really cool series on Amazon. So do check him out, Kevin Tomlin in Amazon. And we on, I believe, probably the fourth part of Chicago Soul. Chicago Soul that has a major influence, believe it or not, in our gospel.
Yes.
In terms of sound, US and UK gospel, because you know, obviously we listen to that, and you know, and Kevin highlighting Chicago Soul to me has got me listening to elements of it which I could hear when I was growing up, in the musics that were produced by and done in church, you know, and the sound of what we're doing. So, or we celebrate the sound and where it comes from. Sometimes we want to be you know, we often talk about how we influence people and what we do, or how gospel has influenced soul and stuff. And sometimes we don't want to recognize what they've done out there once they've gone out there. But let's pull out the facts and let's have a look at what our sound has done to the world. And that's the black sound, you know what I'm saying? So you got to understand the origins to actually realize how much we've been around the world. 100%, man, and how we impacted this world. So today, guys, we're looking at I'll call it the people that no one really knows about as such, unless you're a music nerd. Everybody knows about the singers, the artists, then maybe the musicians. Maybe, very, very big maybe. And then the people that get known last are the people that do the arranging and engineers. And I think that and the executive producers, the only probably executive producer that we do know so much about is Quincy Jones, but and L.A. Reid's of the world. But we don't know much about them, about any others outside of that. But these guys were integral in terms of bringing a lot of the amazing female artists that we've spoken about. They're bringing around, supporting the likes of Curtis Mayfield, working with these guys and helping them get to the end. So Curtis Mayfield did not just turn up to the studio, did his thing, and he got produced and he got that. He needed somebody to help manage the project, to help him and salute. And some artists can do that, but trust me, they'll be stressed out their head and they'll lose their creativity in 2 weeks if they just focus on that. They had to have somebody handling their business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's why you have football agents. That's why you have all these guys, people handling people's business. You know what I'm saying? Salute to them on that still, yeah? So, so Kevin, let's go from the top, man. How you want to do it, man? Because, you know, we spoke about arrangers. I know you touched about the symphonies and the sounds, but okay, arrangers and engineers, which one you want to go for first?
Well, we could talk about the arrangers and the producers. The Charles Stepneys of the world. Charles Stepney, who became prominent from the 60s onward when he did the classical arrangement and two of the Dell's recording that went number one. Stay in My Corner, which went number one, which was a monster hit. And with what interesting about this track in particular, Stay in My Corner, and this was the first time, one of the first times that Stepney Mills brought in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra string section. To give it that special. When you listen to "Stay in My Corner," you can actually hear the massive beauty of the symphony string section.
So Stepney, he actually,
Stepney was a producer as well.
yeah.
Oh yes.
He was born 31, and he died a month before I was born. Actually,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, in 76.
That's
but the
correct,
thing is, he's worked with. I'd never heard of. Obviously, I've heard of Earth, Wind and Fire. He's worked with the Dells, Ramsey Lewis.
That's correct. Yes.
I'm like, who's these guys? You know, a Rotary connection.
Yeah.
He's worked with all these, and he started life as a jazz pianist.
And a vibraphone as well.
A vibraphone, yeah.
Yes,
What on earth is a vibraphone? Let me just make sure I get this right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it looks like, bro. Yeah.
Well, don't we call it a xylophone?
Some people say, but I call it vibraphone.
You call it vibraphone.
That's what I know it. I don't know what's the difference, but it's all part of the percussion family.
Yeah, it's a percussion family. That's a xylophone to me anyway. Still, yeah. So you can play the piano and the xylophone. It will be playing piano and still panning.
And he can play drums too. He was a multi-instrumentalist.
Okay.
Classically trained too, you know.
Okay. Cool.
And he was a songwriter and arranger and everything. Producer. He wears several hats.
Okay.
Serious brother.
So and he was he started his work at Chess Records.
That's correct.
Yes, Okay. So he's where we created the Rotary connection. Yeah. So what was this Rotary connection thing? Is it like a band?
Rotary Connection was a studio band that made up of with vocalist Minnie Ripperton as the head vocalist for it, right? And with Minnie Ripperton, you had a bunch of white and black musicians that worked together to create a sound, including her husband, who was part of that group. And so they created jazz fusion, rock fusion, sonic fusion, and so on. They created an experimental sound, which ended up influencing a lot of the rock bands we know today, like Pink Floyd and so forth.
Wow! Wow!
They're influential. And he's Charles Stepney is very influential to the growth of many artists that came out of the UK as well as the US. His sound, they gravitated to it, and they studied different parts of it. Okay. They respect him as an innovator. And a lot of people wanted to work with him before he died. There was plans for Barbra Streisand to work with him, Michael Jackson, and so forth before he died. Yeah, that's how serious he was. He was regarded at the same level as Quincy Jones.
Okay,
total he's just total. Okay. Yeah, you have to check out the stuff that he did with Ramsey Lewis and so on. You know, there's
Yeah.
He says,
they said that one of his influences and legacies are artists such as obviously Ramsey Lewis, who said Stevie Wonder, Denise Williams, Shaka Khan, For Hero. Yeah. What's this? Jean Paul Bluey Munich? I don't know who that is.
Oh yeah, he's he's an artist from the UK. I can't remember what group it is.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know. Is it Canito? Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's influenced a lot of people there still. So
influenced a lot of people. He's a great trendsetter. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so who's next?
Well, we have people like, for instance, Richard Evans, which Richard Evans became a lecturer in composition at Berkeley, academic level. But he was very influential in the lives of, he worked closely with Charles Stepney as well. So he did the soulful string. He worked with Peabo Bryson and Natalie Cole in arrangements and so on. And he did a lot of jazz arrangements, classical arrangements, soulful strings. So he's very influential in terms of, he's another serious brother. These men were not only, the thing that you need to remember with Chicago, they were not only good as musicians, just like Ray, who we talk about. They're academically trained. Yet at the same time, they're studio masters. Masters in the studio. They're serious musicians. They're top-end musicians.
Yeah, man.
So because they were top-end, the music that came out of Chicago wasn't ed music. It was music that the musicians could actually read notes and what the string. Yes, that's the difference. They were like the musicians that we heard yesterday in the studio. Friday, they can actually play the instruments. They can read the notes, and he had no problem in understanding what needs to be done.
Cool. Yeah, man. Make sure you keep it all.
Yes, they had no problem. They had no problem what needs to be done in the studio.
So just make sure Kevin talking.
That's right. So that's why Richard Evans is at the same level. Of course, we think Charles Stepney went on to another level.
Okay, cool.
But they're all classically trained, brother, and they can actually lecture. They understand notes.
It shows the importance of it. We've mentioned before, guys, we seem to be at a fear, and we had a bit of an arrogance before about, why do we need to be classically trained? I can play better than them because, I can hear their piece and just play it from just listening to it, you know what I mean? And we used to take the micro, that element, but you know what? It's important to be classically trained. And I encourage
it's vitally important.
With anybody with a talented young person these days, please, whether it's drummer, singer, pianist, bass player, get them classically trained because they'll be able to do work, they'll be able to follow the dream, but also to be able to do session work because they have ability to do what they're going to do.
We have people like Tom Washington, who is a great arranger, producer, and also instrumentalist. He could play several instruments as well, and he was so good that he worked on Phil Collins' early albums as an arranger.
Okay.
You heard me. On Phil Collins, 10 million copies album, No Jackets and so forth. He was on those albums doing the string and horn arrangements. Brother, serious.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And he worked with the Jacksons on their stuff. He worked with Earth, Wind and Fire. The list goes on. He was responsible for the early hits to do with the Shy Lights, Old Girl, Have You Seen Her, all those classical hits.
Okay.
Oh yes.
You heard it again, guys.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
And he worked with the Genesis as well.
Okay.
So that's the interesting thing about the Chicago producers and arrangers. They were so good that even when things went quiet in Chicago, they were recruited elsewhere. They were good.
Yeah, cool.
They're brilliant.
Cool.
Wow. We have another one as well to do with Benjamin Wright Jr., who did the string arrangement on Michael Jackson's first epic solo album.
And Benjamin Wright's from Chicago?
Yeah, he's not originally from Chicago, but he worked in Chicago.
Okay.
He developed his craft. He's from down in Mississippi there. But he developed his craft musically, and he's college and university trained as a classically trained musician, multi-instrumentalist, has his own studio in the West Coast, and he does all the arrangements for the New Kids on the Block, for Mary J. Blige, the list could go on. Destiny Child, he's done stuff, on all the stuff he's worked on, a lot of them is platinum, gold, double platinum, this, that. And he was the one who brought that introduction of strings to a track, like when you listen to Stop Till You Get Enough and you hear the strings go at the introduction. He was one of the key people to start that trend.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, it's like that then.
Yes.
No, that's good.
I mean, that album alone that he's done has done about 18 million copies or more, in both in digital form and hard copies.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
wow.
I mean, he started as a copyist in Chicago, doing copyist work for Charles Stepney and Richard Evans and so on. And then, you got Willie Mitchell, who did monster hits for Tyrone Davis, for things like Take Back the Hands of Time, which is a million seller. This one, Johnny Pate, who was responsible for all the hits that were the impressions with Curtis Mayfield. Amen, push, keep on pushing. People
it's
get
like-
ready. Yes,
Okay, go
all
okay.
those sort of things. Yeah, you're responsible for. Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
Let me just have a look into
And
that.
also Johnny Pate is also a lecturer too. He was a lecturer.
Okay.
So they were not only practicing musicians, someone, but they were able to lecture on the people that they work with. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a serious brother. Yeah.
Okay. No way. His song "Shaft" in America was
That's
sampled
right. Yes.
by producers.
Yes.
Just played for Jay-Z's single "Show Me What You Got."
Yeah.
Okay. So these guys were making money because music got sampled.
Yeah, they got sampled. Yes.
Wow.
We have another one who is a brilliant guy who trained Tom Washington and Willie Mitchell, and a few called James Max, not on the list there, who trained them to become top musicians. He trained them. They went to college and became a student.
Okay.
Leon Graham, and all these people became outstanding producers and arrangers, and they used James Max to help them with their stuff.
Jeez.
Not only to lecture, but to work with them. So James Max is also very influential and sampled by many artists as well. Yeah.
Wow.
So you find out that even Eugene Record, who is brilliant, he was both a guitarist and a songwriter and a singer. And all these people I'm talking about were responsible for the soul development of soul music to international level, and a lot of white artists around the world has actually sampled them stuff and re-recorded. So just to show you the influence of the producers, and this is just a tip of the iceberg. I'm just talking about a few of them. Yeah, just talking about a few of them. Maurice White, who became the co-founder for Earth, Wind and Fire. Maurice White. He learned to become a songwriter and a producer watching the late Billy Davis, who was a co-writer with Barry Gordy, who was the founder of Motown. Yeah, and he learned from him, Rescue Me, all that. You would hear him as a drummer on Rescue Me. He was the drummer on Rescue Me, and he became a co-founder of Earth, Wind and Fire, right?
A crazy band that is, people.
Yes. Earth, Wind and Fire. So Earth, Wind and Fire roots comes out of Chicago soul.
We haven't touched Earth, Wind and Fire, have we?
Why? Touch Earth, Wind and
Sorry,
Fire.
guys. There's a couple of people we ain't touched, man. I can't keep them running away from.
Oh,
There's like Mike. We mentioned we ain't touched Michael Jackson.
No,
because
that is another.
That's just another. You can say Michael Jackson, the Jackson. We haven't touched James Brown.
No,
you're saying
we haven't touched James Brown. We
most
haven't touched
sampled artist, man.
Yeah, and we haven't touched Earth, Wind and Fire. Oh, we haven't touched Maze. Rather, if you start, as we said, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg.
One by one, week by week.
Look. This is just unbelievable. And remember, out of Chicago came some of the best sound engineers of all time.
Okay, let's go.
Bruce Swedeen.
Everyone talk about these Swedeen. So
you go and check Swedeen.
So just a quick guys. I want to emphasize, something that you don't realize. If you haven't got a great engineer, you are absolutely stuck. Yeah. And one thing I would have to say is that to get the right sound, you have to get right engineers, and we just I don't think we respect that enough in the gospel industry.
No.
One of the things that we just kind of think, just stick anybody at the back to mind the desk. That shows you our mentality towards the engineering game. Yeah, so we need to step up because you have to realize that having great engineers is how we get a great sound. Yeah, so watch his space. But okay, Swedeen, let's have a look what he's done.
Well, Swedeen was responsible for the 4 seasons that were recorded at VJ Record, the label. He did all the sound recordings, Sherry and so on.
He's worked with Quincy Jones by the looks of this.
Well,
Quincy Jones.
Yes, he worked with Quincy Jones. He became Quincy Jones' chief engineer.
And with Michael Jackson directly
Yes,
as well.
yes,
Thriller and all.
Yes.
Wow,
Oh,
he's done a lot of. He's won 5 Grammy Awards.
That's correct. Yes.
Not bad, man. He's
Yeah.
won with Thriller, Michael
Yes, that's
Jackson.
right. Yes.
Bad
Yes.
with Michael Jackson. Back on the Block with
Yes,
Quincy
with
Jones.
Yes, that's right.
Dangerous.
Yeah, that's it.
With Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And Quincy Jones. Q. Is it Q's Jock Joint? Anyway, that's
Juke joint. Juke
Joint.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's got his
So it became Quincy Jones' chief engineers from the 70s onwards. You know, they did the stuff with Brothers Johnson's. You know, Strawberry Letter and all of things.
Because sometimes we just think of the when it comes to things like Thriller and, and tracks like Beat It, all we think of the and you just think of the beat bass line. Who did that bass line? Who did this? But who brought that sound out?
Yeah, it's produced with Bruce Swedien, who died a couple of years ago, not too long ago. Also ended up being a lecturer at university and actually mentored other sound engineers.
Wow. This is not a black guy, this is the white guy.
He's a white guy.
The white guy.
He's worked with Muddy Waters, he's worked with Duke Ellington. So this is interesting with Bruce Swedien. Before he arrived at Michael Jackson, him and Quincy Jones had at least 25 years before. 25 years recording experience. So when they reach Michael Jackson, they're ready and waiting. They're ready and waiting. They're ready. They weren't thinking about it. They knew what they want.
Yeah, I think that definitely
vitally important.
Sweden parents were from Sweden.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like they're too sweet. And you're thinking in Swedish people, thinking what they know, but they brought what they brought to the table.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And they brought it with a clinical element. So that's crazy, man.
That's right.
So who else? Whoever engineers are.
Well, you talk about engineers. You talk about Roger Van Senton.
Okay, yeah. So you got somebody named after me, guys. Yeah, cool. Named
Roger and Vincent.
You notice these guys got these European,
the European
names.
But he was a chief engineer at Curtin Records, Quincy Jones' label. He was a chief engineer. He was a serious brother. Yeah.
No, it's not this guy. No, it's not in this.
Richard.
Roger.
Sorry, it's Roger.
It's Roger. Yeah. It's not in. Let me have to. Sorry, guys. I'm doing at the same time as we say. I'm doing my knowledge. You're learning as I'm learning. That's so my name is. It seems to find its way. Let's look at this geezer.
Yes, that's right.
Discography. Let's have a look what he's done. Anything about it? Let's have a look what he's done. Let's see what pieces of work he's done. Let's have a look, mate.
Check out what he's done, bro.
Okay, the white brother. Yeah.
He was a former. Remember now, he was a former engineer for RCA Records, which Curtin Mayfield bought the studio. You know.
Okay.
And became the center of the Curtin Records operation. You hear me? He bought the studio. From RCA Records. Yeah, he bought the studio.
Who this guy?
Yeah, he bought. This guy was employed by RCA Record. He bought him and employed him as his main studio engineer. Okay,
so he's definitely, and this is again, that's another business move. What are we doing with the money when we earn something from a big hit? Yeah. Are we getting a new house or are we expanding the business?
Yeah,
these decisions that we need to make.
Are we buying a Jaguar?
A Jaguar or something. We'll buy the cars, guys. You know what I mean? I see a lot of, even back in the day, you see a lot of guys who made a hit back in the day that have a Jaguar.
Yeah,
you cannot. It's no help to you in 10, 20 years when you got no career. Yeah. Build up for tomorrow. So if you're coming in, understand the models. So this guy has worked with tracks with Curtis Mayfield, Vidal's, Terry Collier, Barbara Mason, The Impressions. Obviously, we said, man, he's done a lot of things for Curtis. He has, he looks quite integral. Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, man. Yes, he did stuff.
Staple Singers.
That's right.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Right. He's involved with that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? He's involved with Leroy Hudson. Yeah. He's there. Again, Gladys Knight and the Pips. He's done some stuff with her. He's a lot of stuff with this. Maybe Staple herself. He's done work with her.
Yes.
Aretha, as we mentioned. Ava Cherry, Chicago, something choir. Looks like a Jewish choir there. He's worked with.
Was that?
Yeah, there.
Yeah, Chicago. Yes, it's a Chicago choir. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So he's done a lot of stuff. Again, he seems like the right hand man for Curtis Mayfield, to be honest.
He
yeah?
was.
You know what I'm saying? Linda Clifford, Donny Hathaway.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
With Donny Hathaway,
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, to get that. So, yeah, so you can imagine Donny is coming up after Curtis. He's seeing that, I need to work with these right guys.
Remember, Donny Hathaway was a staff member at Curtin label. You know, he's an arranger, writer, and a producer.
Donny Hathaway's Chicago.
Yes, he used to work in Chicago. I don't know if he was born in Chicago, but he actually worked with Curtin. That was his first employment in the industry after, when he was at uni. Yeah.
Okay, he died young though. Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
Where was he born? Born in Chicago? Donny Hathaway?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
He's a Chicago brother, yeah.
Okay. All right, still, So, keyboardist and stuff. Yeah. People like, because he's done that live album. A lot of people like the live album stuff that he's done and whatever there. So, so, he's done a lot of stuff, man. Donny Hathaway. That's another hit guy man from that period there. Donny Hathaway,
Yeah, because he did Blue Light in the Basement with.
What was he? He's like the early soul. He was more. Would you say R&B or soul?
He was R&B, jazz and R&B and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, very much classically trained. A lot of these people, when we talk about, they have classical influence.
It's incredible how much a classical influence has. It's something that we didn't take seriously before. So so it's absolutely fantastic, bro. So guys, you heard it. Is there any other engineers we in touch? Is that Doug Brand?
Doug Brand is another Chicago engineer that worked. Yeah.
Doug Brand. Hey guys, have a look a bit of. Let's see if I got anything on him. Doug Brand or Band? Brand. Okay.
Brand.
Looks like he's not in. Sorry guys, I'm just doing my wiki look. But I'm gonna go and do this in here. Doug Brand. Doug Brand. I'm gonna put down Chicago Soul. If I put down Doug Brand and put Soul next to it.
Yeah, Chicago Soul.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Doug Brand, sound engineer.
Okay, that's that would help. Doug Brand, sound
engineer.
Yeah, see how these sound engineers get the raw deal. Yeah, because they excluded Doug Brown discography. Let's have a look at what you've done, my mate. There's no picture of him, but Doug Brown is.
You can see what he's done.
Man.
Quite a lot.
He's done a lot of music. I'm just trying to see if I see anything there. Pygmy Markham, who's that? The Ramsey Lewis, we mentioned them. Ramsey Lewis. Yes,
Soulful
strings
at Chicago.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of. He was Oh yes.
So he's done a number of pieces of work. He's done a lot of work here. I'm looking at that. I'm just trying to find out so many buzz names. Ramsey Lewis is the one that we mentioned before that is done. I'm looking through.
Gene Chandler. He did stuff with Gene Chandler. He's another Chicago great.
Yeah. So
he's done a lot of classical.
Inez Andrews.
Yes, he's done it. Yeah, that's right. He's done a lot of classical work as well as
jazz. Kenny Burrell. I wonder if he's related to I wonder if Kenny Burrell is related to Kim Burrell.
It probably might be, you know.
Might
be. You never know.
Yeah. And that got released on Chess Records. Yeah, and look at the record companies here, guys. There's a lot of stuff with Chess he's worked with. Yeah. And that's the good thing about it. These guys were flowing in and out different studios and stuff like that. So that's good to you. That's good to see, man. That's good to see.
Yes. And there was a John Janios.
John Janios, yes.
Who was, I think it was a staff member of Curtin Record.
Artist. Johnny Janios, that guy there,
yeah, Johnny Janios, yeah. This should be.
Let's see what he's done. US jazz pop singer, guitarist. Is it that guy?
No, he's supposed to be a sound engineer.
Sound engineer. No, it's not that guy.
Not that guy.
But anyway, these guys, guys, it's actually embarrassing. You have to do a deep dive on these guys because
Yeah,
there's not that much. They're just not. People are not interested in them.
No. The thing about it
Crazy.
is that you've got to be deeply searching into
These artists,
into these musicians and artists to find out their actual significant influence.
And it shows you.
Yes.
And I would say to us guys, this is why it's important that some of these missing bricks. Only a few people know how to make great hits, and this is one of the things how to make great hits. Have great engineers.
Yes.
So. Guys, it's not even on the radar, bro. That's incredible. So you got John and Janius, and you got Fred Brittberg as well, as a great engineer in the Chicago area.
Yes. And he was Brittberg, did work at Curtin as well.
Okay.
So there were about at least 4 white sound engineers that work at Curtin Records alone.
Black owned label, man.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And this is what I think. This is what people just have to get over it. We can be black owned, and we can be successful in our black art forms and have white staff on board. We're cool with that. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying just create a utopia of just black people. The thing is, some of the best people in their craft are not black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're in the music industry. Yeah.
But we saw that on Friday.
Yeah.
With the keyboardists.
Yeah.
I mean, the keyboard is.
He was referring to Friday, so guys, anyone who watches back, he's referring to a recording that we was together.
Yes, we did. Which was the vibe in the studio was absolutely remarkable.
Yeah.
And actually, which is interesting, every single black label in the US had white sound engineers and staff members in the session band and so on working for them.
Cool.
LaFace Records, Solar Records, Philly International, Motown Records, Stax, right? All these labels had white staff members involved in the studio as well as the engineers and so on.
Crazy.
So
cool.
they were interested in having the best, whoever they are, and the white guys enjoyed it as well because they were interested in creating that sound. These brothers, they were committed, and they became good friends to their own black brothers, and sometimes some of them become godfathers and godmothers of their black friends' children.
Amen.
That's how serious.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Kenneth Gamble's daughter would call Joe Tasha Uncle Joe. That's how close they became. Uncle Joe.
Man. That's blessed.
Hello, Uncle Joe. How are you? They come tight because the respect that they develop.
Yeah.
Understanding.
Yeah.
The devotion to the craft. These brothers are serious. Another thing too is interesting. Donny Kalina's Soul Train came out of Chicago, bruv.
Okay, cool.
Before it went to West Coast, it came out of Chicago.
So that's why it's called Chicago Soul, and the Soul gave us a Soul Train and whatever that's still, you know. So the Soul Train, which you were seeing, it was dancing down the aisle and everything. That's still, which was
It started in Chicago. Yeah.
Wow. Chicago, you bought a Soul Train, man.
Yeah, Donny
Crazy.
he bought Soul Train.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it says, in the process, God created a pilot for Soul Train, which was named after a promotional event in which it put together in 1969.
Wow.
Okay,
cool.
And then the show premiered on the 17th of August, 1970, and became a popular show for African Americans living in around the city of Chicago. So it started in Chicago, and then afterwards, businessman George Johnson of Johnson Products Company provided funds to help the show become a national. This is a black brother who helped the show, an African American businessman, to help the show to become a national television program.
Wow.
And more corporate sponsorship came from Sears and Roebuck, the major retail company, and major retail and national headquarters in Chicago. And then you can see how it's finally syndicated in 1971.
Crazy.
Okay, and
Crazy.
then it started to go all around the major cities: Atlanta, Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, San Francisco. Okay, when it was first here, and then it went on from there. Yeah.
Crazy.
So,
Listen, no, absolutely crazy. Chicago, you brought some craziness to the table, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I do have to conclude here because we can go on. But the thing is, read Kevin's book on Chicago if you want the greater detail. Still, you know what I mean? A great detail, you know. On that still, so do check it out. Check it out. It's not out as yet as we record, but it'll be out soon still, So and if you hear Kevin talk about recordings we've been together, watch out, there's a project called Recounted coming out. If not, it's already out. So watch out for that and keep an eye on what we're doing over here. Affinity Extra will be celebrating that project, obviously, but at the same time it's been produced by my production company GR360 Productions. That's beyond the project of not just about capturing and recapturing or capturing the history, but also at the same time is bringing the best of a beautiful sound, which is the sound of gospel music and the power of the UK black sound. So watch your space, man. But listen, Kevin, thanks again for your time and effort.
Welcome, brother.
Thanks for coming to Birmingham town and coming in the studios and recording a couple of shows. It makes life a lot easier for me when you do that, man. And we can see him in
Great pleasure.
we can see Kevin in 4K quality. You know what I'm saying? So and YouTube anyway. So listen, we've got some great work to do, guys. Keep us up in your prayers because we are doing a lot of things behind the scenes, trying to get things moving in the UK industry, which is a thankless job, to be honest. Just pray that God gives us strength and provide. Amen. You know what I'm saying? But Kevin, thanks again for your time with us. And guys, brother, check out Chicago Soul, the engineers in town.
Amen.
Hey, this is your bishop. This is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website and also check us out on Insta and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.